Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Citizen Sleeper 2. First thing I'm going to do, I think, is spend my upgrade points. Have a little think about it. I think I am going to put a bit into Endure. I know we could maybe boost these up to be really good, but I just feel like being a bit of an all-rounder, it feels like, because Eugene even isn't that good at Endure checks, that when they do come up, we're not that good at them. I may even use another 4 to take them up to that level. Obviously, we'll never be any good at the engage skill because that's blocked out for us. But you know, I think as long as the rest of them are good, I think we can work around that relatively well. So what are we going to do? Let's have a look at our drives. Just remind myself. Junie's bunker. So that's from Holmes Rock, I think. That's a major one, so I think we'll try and do that. Minor. Oh yeah, we need to do something with supplies. Is that like a thing on our ship now? Go to Greenbelt, scatter yards. So we will do both of those. Yes, there's rig supply store. So what's happening on this? So we have to sort of input supplies, but very low on supplies, very low on fuel, and very low on cash, so we're going to have to do something about some of these. But there are, I think, the reason I came to here particularly is because I know there's work for us here that we would be relatively good at, so I think we're going to do that. Also to mention as well, I did go back and, because there was the thing with Bliss being a character from the first game, potentially, was on my mind, so I went and looked up the NPCs in the first game, and indeed Bliss was in the first game. They were like an engineer. I remember them being in a zero-G environment. We did work, like in the first game, we did work with them. I think they may have tried to cheat us at one point or something. I can't quite remember. But also, in looking up sort of NPCs from the first game, was reminded that Tala, i.e. Seraphine's sister that we recently rescued, was in the first game as well. She ran the bar on the Eye, the station there. And in fact, we went into business with her in the first series. I knew, as soon as she took off the hood, I thought I kind of recognized the character model, not so much the name. But yeah, so it's, I mean, in fairness, it has been, I think, a couple of years since I played the first game, so didn't quite remember them. Particularly Bliss, because Bliss has changed their appearance quite substantially since the first game, so. But yeah, anyway, what are we doing? So, we've got an engineering shift. I'll put in the 5. How much do we get on a positive result here? I think I'm basically just going to try and make money. 14's not bad. 14's not too bad. We got the raw scrap as well. They'll pay us for that. How much do they give us for processing raw scrap? We have to put in 2. 7 cryo. It's not a oh, we got a process scrap though. Oh, okay. Cut and wrap scrap plating ready for the exchange. I wonder what we do with that. I don't know if we found a place to use that yet. So in here... Okay, so this is Endure, but even though we're not negative status on that now, I'd rather find engineering jobs or something similar. Buy fuel, buy supplies. Okay, yeah, we're still pretty low on cash, Ola. But this is the gambling place, isn't it? Yeah, I'm never going to be any good at this engage check, so I don't think I'll ever do that. This one, we actually have got a couple of pluses to these, so I think you get 13 for a positive result here, which isn't quite as good as the other one, but yeah. Then I got a glitch die, which isn't great, and I mean, what do you get on a negative result? I wonder if you still get money on a negative result. No, you just lose energy. Okay. So the 3... Yeah, I mean, I'll probably put in a couple of 3s. So we do need the money. Yeah. Okay, so we're up to 70 now. I don't think we can really sort of fill up on fuel or supplies, but what I'll do is rest up this cycle And then we'll probably eat after we've rested. Yeah, so take odd job. Is it better to get the cryo, I wonder, or try and get supplies? What's more expensive, the supplies or the fuel? So supplies... Oh no, it's yeah, the supplies are 15, and it might be better to just try and get supplies then. So I think there's a chance of getting less cryo than that. If we get a supply, we're on 1 at the moment. Yeah, so we did get 1. That's good. Oh, okay, we've got Eugene.
Sleeper, you got a moment?
Eugene finds you in your berth.
I have news about the Aphelion.
Eugene's seriousness you rarely see etched into the hard lines of his face. You remember the ship he's talking about, the Aphelion Path, the last surviving interstellar fraction ship in the Helion system, if his stories are to be believed.
I've been putting out some feelers for that little lost ship, and something came back.
He glances around as if the information might leak to some unwanted source.
I've been working with a contact of mine, a signal chaser working out of the Hollow. He's got some promising data. He followed the trails from the hidden wreck we found, calculated the possible vectors. If this thing is still in the Helion system, it's in the shoals.
He folds his arms across his broad chest, watching your reaction. Do you trust him? He sucks in a breath.
As much as I trust anyone. I haven't told him what exactly we were tracking. I just gave him the signature. There's a chance he hasn't figured it out, but the problem is the signal chase has gone quiet. Nothing for a few cycles now.
Eugene shakes his head.
Maybe he got wise to the value of what he found, but I doubt it. Maybe he just took a holiday.
Eugene grins at his own joke.
I reckon we pay a visit to the Hollow, turn up my ghosted contact, see how viable the data looks. If it looks good, we go out and get the ship. It doesn't, he shrugs. No harm, no foul.
What about Vesna?
What about her?
Eugene shrugs.
Maybe she's involved. I doubt it, but...
He holds up a finger.
Could she come sniffing around after the fact when a whiff of the data gets out?
He sighs.
Yeah, that's what she does. That's all I've got.
Eugene winks.
Keep it between us, all right? We'll let the others know when we hit the Hollow. But remember what's at stake here, Sleeper. An interstellar ship, a ticket out of Helion.
He pats you hard on the shoulder.
It'll be worth it.
With that, Eugene drifts out of the bunks, whistling. Alright, so a new drive, then, is to find the fraction ship. I don't remember which one the Hollow is. Let's have a look at the belt map. So we've got Helion Gate, Holmes Rock, which will probably... I forget... Oh, it even says here, Holmes Rock is where the Junie's bunker is, so that's good. So we know where that is. Scattyards, the green belt. Oh, the Hollow. That's the furthest one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. We'll get there eventually. I think the next one I do is going to be Holmes Rock and do the Junie contract, but we want to get ourselves a little bit better here in terms of how much money and supplies we have. I'm going to rig the supply store, though. Yeah, let's pop... Because we have an extra supply now, we'll do that. Wonder how long we'll have to keep doing that. But let's go back up to the... yeah, okay, well, we need to eat, so let's do that. Good, so full energy. And I think we're going to do just the signal station thing. I'm going to put all my dice in here. I don't think it matters which side of this we do. Although actually the 5 and the 6, I might put that into the engineering one, saying that. Because it was slightly more money. There we go. You can guarantee a positive result. There you go, it's 14, so a couple more. Right. So I think is it the engine components we're saving up for, isn't it? Is that is that on our ship? Does it say what what we're doing there. Is it in the workshop? No. Oh, is it in the engine? We need 8. Yeah, 8. We've got 5 at the moment. Hopefully we'll find more. Can we rest up again, honestly? Ooh, not great dice there. Did get another supplies, so let's just keep popping one in there. I won't do the dangerous one this time. Let's just input in here where we can guarantee. I think losing energy is the worst that will happen, but we can just eat to get that. Yeah, lots of neutral outcomes. Positive though. Okay. Slowly getting a bit of cash underneath us. I'm going to flip that dice one more time. Yeah. And that's fine. I'm not that fast. So can we fill ourselves up now at the trade hall? So to fill up with fuel, okay, so it's 105 to fill up on supplies and fuel. So I think we'll do that. It'll leave us a bit low on cash again, obviously, but it does mean we can leave the system. Okay, so full of fuel, full of supplies, at least some cash. Out of dice, we might as well go now. We're gonna go to Holmes Rock. Let's remind ourselves what there is to do here, as well as the contract, obviously. So we could probably make a bit of cash here. And as we're going out on a contract, I probably will try and do that. We can sell a raw scrap. We've only got 2 now, so I probably won't do that. So I'll probably do one of those jobs. The fabricator. Oh yeah, we can turn this into... I forget what we turn it into. We are going to a Solheim bunker, so well, actually that means it might be useful to hang on to the data. The canteen, we can fill supplies, buy a meal. Sell engine components. I definitely don't want to sell the engine components. Freighter, offload freight, that's an endure. Buy fuel. I probably will fill up on fuel. I'm going to do work now anyway, so... and let's keep the supplies going, I guess. There's 3 now. I wonder how many we'll have to do. Yeah, well, let's put that into that one as it's a guaranteed positive anyway. 8 cryo on a positive. We did get energy though, which is fine. I'd rather make more cash. 9. Huge amounts of money. Right. Well, energy isn't that important on a contract. It kind of just resets. So I think let's... why don't we head out and do that? The Solheim bunker. Junie's locked in. I think about... Bliss is fine, but they just kind of double up on what I do, whereas at least Eugen's got that engage and endure, so I think we'll do that. Hopefully he rolls a bit better this time than he did last time. Ah, that's it. Seraphim nods towards the featureless asteroid. Those are the coordinates Junie gave me. You look out at the rock. It's like thousands, hundreds of thousands of other rocks in the starward belt. All these objects, much the same, spread across a huge circumference of space. It's a good place to hide something. That's it? Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. Hey, that's it, Seraphim confirms. She drifts forward, her eyes tracing the shape of the rock. There. She points. That hexagonal crater. She turns to you. That's the entry. You look at the dark spot on the already dark rock. That's a start.
Manual labor isn't my favorite,
Eugene comes in from the corridor.
but long-lost treasure? I can get into that.
You look out at the unassuming rock and wonder what it might contain. A few dusty tunnels or something more? Time to go find out. Alright, Eugene actually rolled well this time. Junie was average. Ours was mixed, but okay. So yeah, I suppose we go into the sealed entry. So engineering checks, which obviously I'm good for, and then me or Eugene here. Let's put in his 6, that's a guaranteed positive result. That's 2 access. We'll put in his 4 as well. Negative. So he took 2 stress, which isn't amazing, but could be worse. I'm going to put in... I'll save my 6 for now, because I think we can get in with the lower dice. I think we would need both these to be positive, though. If this is any neutral, I'm tempted to roll the 2 instead of the other one. Yeah, I'll save. Okay, I want to save the 6 because it might come in useful in the next one. Good. Okay, so let's leave. New location discovered. Access spire. Hack doorway. Okay, so yeah, so Junie's going to be good at this, as am I. So why don't we use her dice on this one? That's good. Neutral. Okay, this will be positive, but it won't get us in because we're out of dice. Okay, so we have to come out of that for now. So we can go back to the ship. I don't want to pop any supplies in, obviously. Fairly average dice rolls, but hopefully it's okay. I might put in Junie's 2 there. Hope for at least a neutral result. Yeah, positive. Good. Okay, continue. When you entered the access spire, the crew suddenly went very quiet. The images of a vast space seen through the viewing windows, the pristine wall paneling, the cool and the quiet. There is a sacred mood to this place, a feeling of hallowed ground. Now, as the facility's final entry log whirs, flooding the passage with stale, dusty, 10,000-cycle-old air, Junie speaks. It's impossible. She drifts down the spire and out into the cavernous interior. A constellation of red specks mark the vast extent of the space, and within it a ring of monolithic buildings curves away, running along the circumference of the massive chamber. You follow her slowly out of the doorway and into the bunker. With a name like that, you'd imagine low, sloped ceilings, stark tunnels, a basement cut into rock. But this place is a cathedral, a cocoon the size of a city.
This is more like it.
Eugene follows you out into the cavern.
This is a treasure house if I ever saw one.
We aren't here to loot. Junie turns back to give Eugene a reprimanding look. This is a historic find. Eugene shrugs.
Yeah, historic or not, it's got to be worth something.
Descending to the rig takes a while. Despite the empty space, no one wants to rush through it. The feeling of entering a sacred territory remains, though the deeper you go inside, the more obvious it becomes that this place is more tomb than temple. You touch down amongst grey metal units, most of them featureless and dark. They tower above you now, their plain frontages revealing little about their function and interior. Stay close. Junie moves ahead into the gap between 2 structures. This place is a labyrinth. Ooh, Warden, pre-collapse protocol. Welcome, visitors. A pale flicker appears near one of the units at the top of a square pedestal. I am the Warden. Please provide access credentials. The flicker stabilizes into a figure, a statue of pulsing light. It pauses for a moment before repeating its request. Junie freezes and holds a calming hand out to you. She retrieves her deck, sliding it carefully from her backpack and turns it on. You look over at the Warden, who waits patiently, white-eyed and absent, restating its security request with a regular rhythm. You guess that this avatar just exists to make human interactions comfortable. Its true body is the facility itself, the vast interior ring speckled with sensors and systems. Suddenly the Warden stops speaking. Then a flash of red passes along the corridor.
Credentials not provided.
Lockdown activating in 10, 9. You look over at Junie, whose eyes are rapidly scanning through a screen full of data. Festning. Junie stumbles through the pronunciation of the passphrase. Litter. Ildsted. She looks up at the warden's avatar expectantly. The warden flickers again, distorts and then stabilizes. Oversight connection not active. Reattempting. It repeats itself again, then again, intoning the words in a regular rhythm. You look over at Junie, holding still as if encountering a wild animal. She meets your eye, but gives no indication of any action you might take. Loop bypass engaged. Welcome, officer. The synthetic voice shifts to a different tone. Leonard Dahl. The avatar's white eyes stay blank and blind. And guests.
This thing has been working since Solheim collapsed?
Eugen raises an eyebrow.
Most of those protocols lost their minds long ago.
Junie looks back at you and then at the warden. The figure flickers, staring out over your heads into the dark. Are we good, Junie? She looks at the warden. Warden, are we approved to access all facilities? Yes, Officer Dahl, the warden replies. Please remember, you are responsible for the conduct of your guests while visiting our facility.
Hear that, officer?
Eugen grins at Junie.
You'll take the rap for me. You'll take the rap for me.
You move forward, pushing between the structures towards a large building, in the hope that it holds the facility's central data core. As you do, you pass benches, barren gardens with desiccated grass, and a drinking bottle floats in the air among the dust motes. This place is dead. Be aware, officer. The warden reappears in the dark, shimmering on a pedestal. Due to this facility's extended run cycle and the activation of the hibernation protocol, access to the central data core will be strictly limited. However, if you wish to show your guests the habitation facilities, I'm sure they will enjoy the tour. The avatar remains expressionless, disconnected from the voice that accompanies it. On a personal note, I am glad to see you return to the facility. The figure flickers. I am happy to report that I am ready for program reactivation at any time. Junie stares at the avatar. Thank you, Warden. She pauses. Can I ask how long ago the hibernation protocol was activated? Certainly. 11,473 Helion standard cycles ago. The warden distorts. If I am in error, I apologize. Some subsystems have not been properly maintained. You look at the blind avatar standing on his pedestal, waiting for an order that will never come. So many cycles in the dark, patiently holding this place together as it fell apart, resisting entropy in its bubble of the past. Thank you, Warden, that'll be all. Junie nods to the avatar, which promptly blinks out of existence, leaving only the dust and the dark. She turns to you and speaks quietly, though none of you know what sensors the warden's vast body might have. My access, it won't last long, she sighs. We need to make the most of this. We should search the place, probably. The warden will likely allow that, but our presence probably won't be tolerated for very long. Junie nods. Let's get on with it. Alright, so we have the bunker core, which is the restricted place, or the sort of main facility. What have we got here? So we can explore and search the storage for Solheim tech and Solheim souvenirs. Okay, so why don't we put Eugen's die into the endure check, searching the storage. We got a Solheim tech, which is, what did that manifest as? Oh, it's just part of the, it's a wheel of the clock. Okay. All right. Okay, we only need one more segment. I'll put my 3 in. Okay. So what do we get? Did we get anything? Well, the rare components went up by 2, I think, so maybe that was it. Okay, well, let's try this one. So I'm going to put my Intuit dice in here. Negative. That was me stress, was it? Okay. My stress. We got a positive there. I don't feel particularly inclined to... dice stress is not good for us, so I might leave that for now. But if we go to the bunker core... so we got Junie check, the scrape cache here, which is sort of good for her. There's quite a big clock here, so let's just do what we can. I'm not going to use my ones. I feel it's probably better just to re-roll those. Neutral outcome. Okay. I think we rest. This clock's still going up. I don't really want the cat to get... I think it's a cat. To come out because it gets hungry. But I don't want to... We're going to need the supplies, I think. Where's my stuff? Where's the locations gone? That feels like that's probably a bug. I might pause here and reload and see if those come back. Hang on. Okay, I reloaded and yeah, these things pop back, so that's good. So let's do this first, and this is mainly on my dice, so I'd rather not get any more stress. Okay, that's a positive. I'll put it in the 4 because I'd like to get another positive. Neutral, okay, I'll put it in the 3. Let's just get this done. Solheim souvenir. So what do we get? I'm not sure. Oh, it says continue. There is an unsettling quiet to the hab units of the facility, a soft silence that blankets every room and hallway. It is obvious from the number of rooms, the detritus, the scale of the place, that it was built to house hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Perhaps it did. Perhaps at the height of Solheim's control of the system, these rooms were filled with life. What kind of life would it be, though, maintaining and running a secret installation inside a distant rock? No sun to speak of, no outside beyond the vast cavern that surrounds you, an eternal light punctuated by the flash of an artificial light. And yet, even in such places, lives grow. You know that yourself from being a sleeper, from your work among other sleepers in the most wretched and distant corners of the surrogate systems. Even in the endless dark, people find ways to live. Come, take a look at this. Junie is searching on her own a few rooms away. You glide through an open doorway into a living room with couches meant for zero-G use, a magnetic table, and a window that looks out to the regular constellation of red lights that describe the limits of this world. Junie is holding an object that makes you stop still and stare, blinking at what seems like an unusual reversal of scale. It is a model, you realize, of the rig. Not your rig, obviously, but a rig, or an MEV Rigger class, as the plaque on the base tells you. Mobile extraction vehicle. Junie follows your eyes to the plaque. Rigger class, she frowns. Seriously? That's why we call them rigs? She laughs, the noise bouncing back hard and cruel in the empty room. What does rigger mean anyway? She sighs. Another Solheim mystery. You look at the model, still fascinated by seeing your ship rendered in such careful detail. You try to imagine what this model meant to those who lived here. A child's toy, a meaningless corporate knick-knack. The model's purpose remains opaque. There were so many of these flying around the system before the collapse, you know. Junie turns the model over in her hand. Solheim used to rent them out to colonists. I've seen the records. That was what they did here. They claimed the system rather than exploit it themselves. They provided goods and services to those who would. The workers paid for transit to the system, then accommodation, equipment, and access to mining claims. Other corps, like XPR or Neoven, paid Solheim to access this closed market, to provide other services. Meanwhile, Sibel paid even more to test terraforming tech in the system. They built massive projects here, rich from work they only facilitated but never undertook. But then they collapsed. Yeah, that's what happens when you're built on other people's work. A few high-profile accidents, malfunctions, and the exodus begins. Once it starts, the shareholders lose trust and... Junie turns and squints out the window. Here we are at the far end of it. Here. Junie turns and hands you the rig model, a gift. You take it and turn it over in your hands. You see something on the base, some words scratched in that you can't read. You run your fingers over them, touching the past. That's as closest thing to a treasure I think will turn up out here. Junie sighs. The people who worked this place didn't have much to their names, it seemed. And what little they did have, well, Solheim owned that too. She leads you out of the hab units, passing countless doors, some sealed, some open, that lead to countless rooms where countless employees live lives, or tried to, in the shadow of Solheim. Like it or not, this is what made the Helion system. What built the decaying structures you cling to as they orbit their star. What that legacy means now is a decision every resident of the Starward Belt has to make. Crisis event, +1 per cycle. Okay. Well, I think we need to crack on here, don't we? So, I'll put my 2s into the scrape cache, I think. But let's put yeah, Junie can't do the extract hardware. If I have higher rolls, I'll put them in here, but I don't want to get negative results on a danger check. Okay, let's keep trying to do as much of this as we can. Eugen's going to be fairly useless right now. I risk my 2s, I think, so they'll come up to 3s. Neutral, I can live with neutral. We're actually doing pretty well. I'm not going to put Jin's in because both of his are fairly negative. Let's go back to the rig. I think I'm gonna want to put. I don't want this clock to fill, so I'm going to put a supply in. Oh, it's action unavailable. Oh, well, that's decided that for us then. Yeah, I guess we just end the cycle. And what happens with the quote-unquote creature on the ship, we'll find out. Not sure. We got. I'll tell you what, we rolled really well though, as did Junie. So I think we'll be able to finish up here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Right. So I'm going to put in. I could put in all my dice to this one. Still only a 2 on the positive, but still. There we go. Okay, let's continue. Done. Junie removes her cable from the data core's port. She looks up from the boxy piece of hardware, one that wouldn't fit inside any ship short of a freighter, and stares at the domed ceiling above, an oculus at its apex letting a shaft of light into the hall. It's a grand piece of architecture for what amounts to a massive piece of data storage, but then Solheim always did have a sense of grandeur when it came to its projects. Why should a secret signal monitoring facility be any less opulent than its other buildings? Find anything good? Hard to tell. She squints at the vast data core. There's too much in there. I barely scratched the surface. I'll only know what's really there when I have time to process it. We should go. Junie sighs. I'm not sure how the warden will react. She looks back over her shoulder at the vast core. I don't think we'll be let back in to get more. As if listening for its name, the warden suddenly apparates on one of the pedestals. It stares, statuesque, across the hall, its eyeline way above your head. Officer Dahl. Its voice sounds strange now, stretched and drawn out. I have detected inconsistencies in the central data core. I believe there may have been unauthorized access. Junie looks at you nervously. Oh, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll investigate when I can. But for now, my guests and I, she looks at you, have to depart. The warden flickers. The warden bends and warps. The warden screeches a pulse of digital noise. Of course. The warden's voice is still broken, still slowed. I hope you enjoyed your visit to this facility. Junie looks up at the blind statue. Something is moving inside it, making its skin, if it has a skin, bend away from its body. Wait. You wait, floating there in the dust. Junie approaches the pedestal. Officer Dahl, can I ask when you will return? The warden blinks its white eyes. The facility has been idle for many cycles, and without reactivation we may face further difficulties in its maintenance. It, the warden pulses, has been so long. Let's watch. You watch as Junie approaches the pedestal. I don't think I'll be able to return. I'm sorry, Warden. The warden flashes red for a moment so small that you could almost believe you'd imagined it. This is as I expected, Officer Dahl. The warden is still now, its lips no longer moving as they speak. Its chest no longer moves to emulate breath. It is a statue. Thank you for your honesty. It has been an honor to serve you. I recommend you leave swiftly. With that, the warden blinks out. You and Junie kick off from the ring, outside the core, and rise up towards the spire you entered through. As you do, you watch a few of the red lights embedded into the framework of the cavern flicker. Junie turns to you as you ascend through the dark. Do You think the warden is sentient? I mean, as a sleeper, maybe you... She goes quiet. I thought you might know. It could have become sentient. Since the collapse, is that possible? I suppose with no oversight from Solheim technicians, the protocol could develop some rudimentary learning skills. She pauses. Seems unlikely it could learn to think, though. She stares up at the approaching spire. Eugene is waiting for you in the access spire.
Let's bury this coffin.
Junie cycles the airlock and you go through, now in your suits and helmets, ascending the sealed spire. As you do, you look out of the viewing windows and something catches your eye. The ring's red lights and those few left on inside the cavern are turning off, layer by layer. You turn to Junie, but she's already looking out of the opposite side. The warden's shutting it all down. Junie pauses. She's ending it. You have to force the hatch back open at the top, and by the time you do, the spire is dark inside, the pristine walls no longer lit. You come out to a canvas of stars, an impossible number of them, spread out in every direction. You take a moment to look at them. After being tucked away in the bunker, they seem impossibly bright and impossibly beautiful. You glance across at Junie and see she's looking up at the stars too, absorbing their light as if doing so might lift her out of this time and into another one, where things were different. I think we're done, right? Don't think there's anything more to do here. So we good to leave? Assume so. Alright, well let's head out and the contract concluded. There we go, so leave. Seraphine settles the rig at Holmes Rock, the old Solheim arrays glinting in the sun. Looking out at the station, you suddenly remember the model Junie gave you, and you take it out of your pocket. Seeing it in full light, you notice it's made from cast metal, surprisingly detailed and robust looking. Yeah, well look at that. Seraphine glides over. It's a mini rig. You let him take it. He turns it over in his hand, looking at it. What a find. He gazes at the model ship. What you gonna do with it? Mount it on your console. Really? Seraphine grins. Well, we can do that for sure. He looks at the model for another moment and then pats you on the shoulder. Good call. Everyone can enjoy it then. He takes the model and glides over to his console. I'll get it sorted. He turns back, smiling. Gonna look great. Sleeper? Junie puts a hand gently on your shoulder. You turn to see her smiling a rare smile. Thank you for going out on a limb for me. I know that wasn't the most profitable job, but what we found... I'll be thinking about it for, well, ever. I managed to extract some data you can use, and I'm going to search through everything we pulled out from the bunker. Junie looks down. I want to show you it was worthwhile. It was worthwhile, she nods. Oh, I'm glad you think so. I'll also start seeing where to find the kind of tools I need to work with data like this. Her smile is fading already, replaced by a familiar, determined stare. We can't let it go to waste, but my deck's not going to be enough. Darkside might be the only option. It's the biggest remaining Solheim facility in the belt. She sighs. I'll look into it. Either way, thanks for bringing me with you. I'm glad to be a part of this. The smile returns. Yeah, for as long as you'll have me. She looks away nervously, and then, before you can respond, she's gone. Off to find a corner of the ship where she can dig through the data she pulled from the past in order to build a better future. So we got 4 Solheim data for that, which is pretty good. We can sell that, as we know. No, we can process it. I'm going to process it because I can't remember what we get. If it's engine parts, it's good. Yeah, so we got just 1 rare component. They're good though, that's what we use to fix broken die. I'll keep the rest of my Solheim data in case we find another good use for it. No, we can't do that now. I wanted to feed the creature. I think it's a cat. But I can't really do that right now. I think we should. It might be better to go back to the fast spindle, because I think the kind of opportunities for work here aren't as lucrative. I mean, we're going to need... The thing about fast spindle is we can't get directly to either of the other locations I want to get to. If we were to go to Flotsam, we could go directly to Scatteryards. Helion Gate's okay, but it's hard to refuel there. I'm going to go there. Oh, it's you! I'm assuming this is going to be the guy the engineer guy. A familiar voice echoes down the tunnel behind you. Oh, it's Femi. It's Femi. Okay. Well, okay. What did I voice Femi as? I can't even remember now. You turn in the passage to see Femi towering over you. He shakes his head. Oh, this just keeps getting better. Been a while, Femi? Yeah, I guess. He frowns and glances over his shoulder. Remember Nia, that sister of mine you thought you'd take on a contract? Well, she's taken some inspiration from your little trip. You can see the anger burning in Femi's eyes, but there's a tiredness there too. He folds his arms across his broad chest. The symbol crash has been in repair since we got out of Hexport, caught up in that whole mess. Femi sighs. So then, stuck here, she gets bored and decides to sign up with another crew, take a job. I said no and she went anyway. Femi glares at you. What happened to Hexport? No idea. There was some kind of alert, but we were already on our way out. We didn't give it much thought, then the whole place went up. Femi looks away. Been in the Scatteryards ever since, till we came here, that is. Symbol crash can't leave right now. I'm halfway through rewiring the damn thing. Something else Nia was supposed to do. I asked around, turns out Nia signed on with some idiots heading out to cut his end. Femi says the name with an emphasis you can't place. They're as green as you, meaning they have no idea what they're doing going out to a place like that. So you... cut his end. So you, Femi jabs your chest with a finger, are gonna take me out there to go get her. She knows what she's doing. Even if she does, the crew she's with sure as hell don't. Femi frowns. We're not leaving it to chance. Look, I know how these things can go. I've got chits I can pay. Femi grimaces. Can't pay for the parts the symbol crash needs when no one sells them anyway. 250 cryo. Femi folds his arms across his chest. No bargaining. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the symbol crash ready to make the run herself. He sighs. With the shape she's in, it's not the best idea to head out there alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. Sorry, they're alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. He would risk everything for Nia. I'll be waiting. We need to head out soon. Femi grips your shoulder. Don't test my patience. Femi kicks off and glides back along the passage towards his ship. Don't even think about skipping out of Flotsam without me, he calls back to you. Then we're really done. Alright. New location, new crew. Let's have a quick look at the map then. So they're quite far. We'd need 4 fuel. We obviously don't have... So the symbol crash. That's how many cycles we've got until he just goes on his own, isn't it? We need a bit of money because I can't refuel supplies and stuff right now. That's an indentured one. Fills the hour. I can't fill the supplies. I could work there. I could work there with my 6s. If I do that, what happens? 8 cryo. That's not great. What else have we got? Integrator officers? These might be better. I can buy engine components here. They're expensive, but if we could do that and get a bigger fuel tank, I think. Positive 8 cryo and raw scrap. It's not exactly making a lot of money here. Let's try this one. 8 cryo. Okay. 63. So what do we need? 7 fuel? Yeah, we need a bit more money, don't we? We can head out. So I think I just got to rest. Source supplies. It's probably still worthwhile doing that because they're still quite expensive. Yeah. Okay, decent rolls. We did get a supply. Which I knew what was happening with this. I'm sorry, I tried to keep it going, but it wouldn't let me put it in when we were on a contract. If I'd known that, I might have delayed the contract a couple of turns. Did get energy for having a positive result here. Which means I wouldn't have to get food. It's going to take a little while to get enough cash to cobble together what we need for the trip, but... $95, okay. So... fuel is 60, isn't it? So let's fill up the fuel now at least. And the supplies... 45. So let's do another cycle, and then I should have enough to fill the supplies at least. So we'll head out then. We can afford to rest again. In fact, yeah. So if we can get another supply. And I don't know if that's I still don't know if that's a guaranteed result or just a chance of success, but it looks like it did succeed anyway. Do I fill it with energy? So let's just do the scrap one, because scrap is stuff we can process and sell eventually, so that's probably fine. I think these are basically identical, aren't they? Lost in energy, but that's okay because we're going to head out on the contract now because I can grab more supplies. It's only 30, so it won't exactly be out of cash either, so let's have a look at the map. We're going to go and do Cutter's End. Nia is signed on to a job at Cutter's End and Femi's worried about her. He wants you to find her and get her out before the job goes bad. Let's do it. Femi's going to be locked in. He basically has the same skills as Eugene, so let's not take Eugene. So I guess the question becomes, do I want to have someone who has a plus in one skill, or someone who is kind of neutral across two skills? Let's take Bliss, though, because we didn't take Bliss last time, so let's do that. What the hell is happening out there? Femi is up and out of his seat the moment Seraphin brings the rig to rest near the asteroid known as Cutter's End. That ominous name is one whose origins become increasingly obvious as you approach through the thick clouds of debris and chunks of rock, among which corroded remains of wrecks could be seen floating. Now, as you look out on the splintered and terraced rock, you can't help but feel a slowly growing sense of dread. Look there. Femi comes close to the cockpit glass and points to the terraced quarry cut into the rock. The mine's awake. You look out and see the flickering lights, the glowing dock markers. Femi shakes his head. That's not right. Neither is that. Seraphin nods towards the asteroid and you see a ship now, tucked into the shadow of the rock, flashing its signal lights at you. I'm guessing that's the crew we're looking for. I don't know who's talking. It might be Nia, whose voice I've forgotten anyway. I think she was Northern Irish. We'll do this neutrally. Visitors, huh? The voice wavers weakly as it comes through the ship's comms. Are you lot friendly? Seraphin glances back at you, raising his eyebrows. It isn't long before you and Femi are suiting up, an agreement having been made between Seraphin and the pilot of the other ship, a man called Baird, to meet you in the neutral ground of open space. Femi is silent, his anger evident in the way he forces his legs into the trousers of his suit. And then you're out. the vast shape of Cutter's End flickering with strange lights below you, and the pinpricks of the pilot's suit lights slowly coming closer ahead. Now this is Baird, okay.
Well, you two are a sight for sore eyes.
You see a crooked grin from Baird, framed in the hard lines of his ramshackle spacesuit.
What brings you to the arsehole of the Starward Belt, eh?
His sharp eyes scan you and Femi, checking your suits and gear. We're looking for someone. Baird's eyes flick to you and you notice a familiar reaction across his face, the acknowledgement that he recognizes you as a sleeper.
You don't look like bounty hunters.
Baird glances between the two of you and then smiles his crooked smile.
Well, he kind of does.
He nods at Femi. You brought a freelancer out here. Femi interrupts, his voice flat and direct over the comms channel. Nia, where is she? Baird pauses, considering his answer.
Old crew's down the throat of that thing.
He jerks a thumb towards the asteroid.
You're welcome to wait.
The tone of his voice suggests the opposite.
But I'll have you know we look after our crews if you're here to settle a debt.
I'm here to take her home. Femi cuts him off, and I'm not waiting.
Thing is, big man, Baird grins, they're deep in the quarry on a tip-off, so unless you want to go chasing them around the dark maze of that place, you're shit out of luck.
How long have they been? Baird looks over the flickering quarry as if he forgot it was there. He looks back to you.
Few cycles?
He shrugs. Enough. Femi cuts in again. Nia's been gone for a lot longer than that. You're lying to our faces. Femi moves closer to Baird. And we know that rock has claimed more crews than any other. Baird's smile fades.
Oh, no need for accusations. Who's to say you aren't trying to jump our claim?
Forget this. Femi turns and heads back towards the ship. Baird smiles at you.
Big man seems tetchy.
He squints at the rig.
He's gonna get you in trouble.
Baird retreats to his ship and you to yours. We need to go in. Femi is impatiently gathering tools and loading them into the airlock. Right now. What's Baird hiding? Who cares? These idiots clearly think they're onto something and they're desperate to keep it to themselves. What matters is our ingress. Femi grabs a cutting torch from the rack. There's a borehole on this side of the rock. Could get us in under the radar. Or we dive right down the main shaft. Femi meets your eyes. I'll leave the call to you. Bliss arrives at the airlock and stares at Femi's angry tool gathering. Oh, let's keep cool heads. They glance at you. That rock looks dangerous enough, even when you're thinking straight. Femi ignores them. You get ready to depart, well aware that you're heading into a situation you don't quite understand. Alright, so one or t'other. We've got the central shaft, which is engineering checks. So we're probably pretty good at that, but this is... The central mine shaft looks to have collapsed in on itself. Entry via this route will not be simple. Or we have the borehole, alternative access. Also engineering. I'm probably the only one who can really do this one. Cutter's Tunnel. This dark borehole cuts deep into the body of the asteroid. Where it leads is unclear, so careful exploration is advised. Let's try this. Let's go the side access route. I've got 300% positive outcome die, so that's a good start. I could push a die as well. Although we've got a decent shot on the engage skill. And then we're down to Bliss, who isn't really good at either of these things. I'm not going to push. Well, +3 to lowest die. So actually, it would be 100. I would get back my stress because I'm guaranteed a positive result on this. There we go. So I think that was worthwhile. I can't push again, and I'm not going to push it in the sense of putting that into there. So I think we come out, and I think we rest. So what's probably best to do? Probably to put my 4 in. If it's positive, that's it. It was neutral, so I took a stress for that, but we did get through the tunnel. You have felt the rumbling growing as you descended into Cutter's End, but no one has wanted to bring attention to it. Now, floating in a cavernous rock-walled passage, it's impossible to ignore. There's something out there. Bliss's voice crackles over the comms. Something's moving. You squint down the tunnel beyond the limits of your suit's lights. You swear you hear something flicker there in the unseen passages beyond. There is a strangeness to the mine, to its flashing lights and empty conveyors, running on some residual power. From what Femi has told you, it wasn't always like this. Cutter's End has a fearsome reputation as a dark and deadly maze, a ripped open rock not worth the trouble of its corroded salvage. Now it's a moving maze, its automated systems given a new, faltering life, brought back from hundreds of cycles in the shadows, and one of those systems is rumbling through the dark ahead. Let's keep it moving. Femi passes you in the passage. We don't need to wait. Take it slow, Femi. We're too far behind, we need to catch up. Femi glides ahead, the beams of his suit lights painting the rock walls of the cavern a pale grey. Femi's lights reveal an intersection, another tunnel cutting across this one, offering 3 routes ahead. Suddenly you're blinded by a wall of light beyond the intersection. The rumble is everywhere, shaking dust and rock off the walls in dense clouds. Squinting into the light, you see a ring of lamps, and between them, the grinding maw of some terrible machine. It bears down on the crew, grinding through debris. Okay, we've got an intuit check that we're pretty good at, so we'll do that. Positive outcome. We actually lost a stress. Nice. You shield your eyes and scan the walls around you. There, revealed in the powerful lamps of the mining machine, you see a small square passage cut into the rock. Signaling the others, you dodge inside, gliding into the safety of the dark passage. A moment later, the machine rumbles past the entrance, spitting a hail of debris into the tunnel. You don't stop. Carried forward by the tide of rock, you emerge into another cavern. You good? Femi's voice is broken up by gasps for air. You turn to see him staring into the dark, shaking his head. What the hell was that thing? Bliss's breathing matches Femi's. It tried to eat us. We need to keep going. Femi is dusting off his suit. That mining machine must be keeping Nia's crew down here. We have to get past it. Keeping them down here, or... Your mind drifts to the worse option. Can any crew really hope to survive all of this? When they woke up this place, they woke up that machine. Femi starts to move down the passage. It's running on old programming. It's not hunting us. It's not smart. Femi turns back to you, his eyes ringed with fatigue and stress. We can beat it. You hope he's right. So what have we got? We got the tunnel complex, cave labyrinth. Cutter's maze. The dark and twisty tunnels rumble with the vibrations of active mining. This place is a death trap. Okay, so we have an endure check, which I and Femi are okay at. We have intuit, which I'm good at, and Bliss is okay at. So I think we've got stuff to work with here. Force a path. The machine rumbles away in the dark, hunting you. You can choose to fight back and force your way through, or the machine rumbles through the tunnels with blinding lights. Avoiding crossing its path will keep you safe. So I think I put my dice into the intuit. It's possibly worth putting Femi's 4 into there, and certainly putting Bliss's 5 into there. In fact, let's do that now. Positive, good. Okay, so I'm going to put mine into this as well, because I should get decent results at least. Neutral. See, that took stress for that. Not mad keen on the stress. Alright, let's put Femi's one in there. Yeah, he got stressed as well. I mean, I think that's a slightly inevitable outcome, isn't it? But I'm going to push, so I at least can... I'll get a stress, but then I can get it back as well. Through a positive thing. I'm going to put my 3, and I'll probably take another stress here, but... Yeah. But we've done it. Okay. To me, Sleeper. Femi beckons you over to a section of the cavern wall. You glide over and immediately spot what he's found. There is a large passage splitting off from this one, but it is not the passage itself that is of interest. It is the remains of a barricade, freshly welded, that draws your attention. They came through here. Femi's eyes flick over the ruins. They tried to keep it out. You look at the fresh cuts in the wall, the stone gouged out, the crumpled metal bent and crushed, and most tellingly, the flattened remains of a welding torch embedded into the rock. The crew took a stand in this very place. You reach down and put a hand on the remains of the torch. Nia was here. Then you feel it, the rumble through the torch, through the rock wall. You look up at Femi and he sees it in your face. The machine is coming. Go! Femi meets your eye. Get safe. He looks over your shoulder and suddenly he's bathed in the blinding light of the machine's lamps. No, we stay together. You go to protest, but Femi kicks you in the chest, sending you spinning away out of the path of the machine. By the time you catch yourself on the cavern wall and turn, you see Femi there in the middle of the passage entrance, lit white in the lamps. He waits, agonizingly long until he knows the machine is coming for him. Then he kicks off hard and glides into the dark. The machine rumbles through in a hail of rock and dust, and you follow after it, batting away chunks of stone. You're slowed by the debris, and the machine pulls out ahead, rumbling endlessly onward, through the tunnels, through rock and metal. And then it is gone. The cavern shakes, filling with dust, your vision grey. Your comms click and hiss, and chunks of rock thunk off the faceplate of your helmet. And then you see them, the faint lights of Femi's suit as he struggles through the dust. "We got it," Femi says as he reaches you, his hands on your shoulders. "Somehow we got it." It takes some time to understand what happened. As the dust clears, you find yourselves at the lip of a shaft filled with debris. This huge pit, thick with shards of rock, must have been a refuse pit for the mine, a place to pipe the tailings, the waste. The machine went straight into this shaft, spinning into the open space and debris, shredding itself against a million razor-sharp bits of rock. Looking down into the pit, your lamps illuminate a few pieces of the machine. The rest is surely down there, deep inside the dense debris cloud. It isn't long before Femi is calling you once again, this time to another, still complete barricade. A barricade over the door to a machine room, sealed and secure. The last retreat of the crew you've followed into this nightmare. Okay, new location discovered. We're at, depends what the rolls are, but we might have opportunities to do a couple of things. So this is the refuse pit. One of the strange machines tumbled into this waste shaft, what might be recovered from its shattered chassis. So we've got some checks here, but they've only got 2, so I don't really want to do their rolls, and I'm out of dice, but we could potentially try and recover something from here. But the machine room, if I was to put Bliss's die in there, yeah, it's not that encouraging to me. Got us rest. The sealed bay might hold the last evidence of the crew's ill-fated expedition, but what remains? So engineer checks, good. Endure checks, fine, but they've got 2, so I think we'll leave for this time and come back in a sec. Let's rest up. Now, if I roll 1s, it's going to break my dice. Yeah, but it did damage a dice that was at full health, so that's not too bad. Nice checks on Femi there. Okay, we're going to work on the machine room, I think. I've got a lot of stuff. If we have time available, we'll do the other thing, but let's concentrate on this for now. So Femi, let's put yours into here, breaking the doorway. Neutral, okay. Bit of a shame he's getting neutrals on 5s, but okay. Ugh. Alright. Well, let's do that. Another positive would get us through. Neutral. Didn't quite get us through. I'm going to put my other 3 in. Okay, we're done. As the barricaded door is bent open, you're blinded once again by a wall of light. You and Femi raise your hands instinctively, squinting into the lamps and dust. You feel a flash of fear in the pit of your stomach, bracing yourself for what's to come. Femi? The voice comes crisp and clear over the local comms. What are you doing here? Nia drifts out of the lights in an old dust-caked suit. She looks between the 2 of you with a blank expression, blinking rapidly. Femi stares at her, frozen for a moment, and then rushes to her, wrapping her in a wide embrace. They float there in the light and dust, 2 bodies bound together. Nia pulls back. I didn't understand. You followed me out here? She looks over at you and then back to Femi. How did you find me? You left without telling me. What did you expect? Femi glares at her. You aren't ready for this. Nia retreats further at Femi's words, slipping out of his reach. Femi. Nia shakes her head. After all these years, you have no idea what I'm ready for. Movement in the lights catches your eye, and you see motion through the dust. A figure in a suit drifts out, hunched and clutching their abdomen. They turn to face Nia, and you see her lips moving as they speak on a private channel. You look over to Femi, but he's staring straight ahead, his eyes wide with anger. You! He points at the figure. What kind of idiot are you dragging my sister out here to this place? With that machine running riot? He moves towards the figure.
Speak up. What were you thinking?
Nia blocks his path forward, getting between Femi and the figure. Femi, you meathead. She glares at her brother. This is my job. I brought them here. Femi, for once, falls silent. It takes a while to make the return trip back up through Cutter's End, especially with Nia's injured crewmate. As you ascend, Nia tells you the story of the job, Femi keeping his distance and leading the way in silence. The mining machine you'd faced was what she'd been looking to extract, a job she and Baird had put together after meeting in the narrow escape. He knew a way to jumpstart the mine, and the access that would open up meant new salvage. One of those pre-collapse boring machines was worth major cryo to any mining outfit in the belt, and Baird had a contact who was ready to buy. That was going well until Harata here. Noah nods at the crumpled-looking crewmate. Hooked the mining machine up to the main line. Something went in its automation core and it lost its shit. The plan was to barricade it and put together a shock trap to fray the core. Naya looks ahead at the back of Femi's suit, far ahead up the tunnel. But that's worthless now that my brother shredded the thing. He was just worried. Always is. Naya sighs, and you get the feeling that she's trying to resist the habit of bad-mouthing Femi. We're lucky you came. As you move through the facility, you notice most of it is dark now, the power from Baird's jumpstart fading away to nothing. Soon this place will be a quiet ruin once more. You ascend up through the quarry and out into open space where Baird is waiting.
Friends of yours?
Baird shakes his head at Nia.
Maybe you could have warned me they'd be coming.
Not something I knew. She looks at Femi, who's broken off from the group and is heading for the rig. My brother doesn't tend to give anyone a warning.
Well, I'll take them from here.
Baird puts an arm around Hirata to guide them back to the ship.
Look, mate.
Baird turns to you.
No hard feelings. Thanks for getting him out. Even if you did screw the job while you were at it.
He grins a crooked grin.
I guess that makes it square.
Baird slides away towards his ship. I should ride back with them, but I'll see you in Flotsam. Nia gives you a warm smile. Thanks for helping my brother. I know we don't appreciate you, whatever he does or doesn't say. You watch her go and then glide over to the rig as the last flickering lights of Cutter's End fade. I think we're actually done. It looks like finishing that kind of meant that we can't go back in. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll just head back then, I think. When you arrive back in Flotsam, we've got some nice rolls there. Femi rushes out of the ship. The moment the docking tunnel is connected, he's off, out of the airlock and down the passage. Well, we'll go after him then, Seraphin sighs, not looking up from his diagnostics. You find Femi in the passage between the docks, watching as Nia glides towards him. You catch a glimpse of Nia's face over his shoulder. She looks nervous, slowing her approach as she comes close to Femi, his considerable frame blocking the tunnel. Femi holds up a hand to quiet her.
I'm sorry.
His voice is flat, quieter than usual.
I'm the one who's sorry. I made the excuse to myself that I was trying to protect you.
Femi looks down.
But I was trying to control you. I've been suffocating you.
He meets Nia's eye.
I see that now. That it took something like this for me to see it is on me.
Femi's voice cracks and the tunnel suddenly feels small, intimate. He folds his arms, regaining his composure.
I understand if,
shut up, you idiot. Nia violently embraces her brother, banging him into the metal wall. She laughs, wiping her eyes. Femi sniffs. I've had enough of your speeches. Nia smiles. Apology accepted.
It's not a speech.
Femi can't help but take his typical self-serious tone with Nia, but you see it makes her smile.
I have something I need to say. You are a powerful person, and I've been trying to curb that because it scares me. And it scares me how little it scares you.
He laughs an uncharacteristically light laugh.
But I'll stop placing those limits on you. In fact, I want you to have the ship.
Femi seems pleased that this stuns Nia into silence.
I can make my own way, find work with crews.
He glances over his shoulder at you.
Perhaps Sleeper will take me on. But I need some time away from captaincy. While you need anything but...
He puts a hand on her shoulder.
The symbol crash is yours.
Nia sighs. Femi, you really need to listen more. I don't want your ship. It is her turn to be pleased with his shock. You're right, I am a powerful person, but Cutter's Edge showed me I'm not ready to lead. I want to learn more, to work with a crew, but preferably not one I'm related to. She punches him on the shoulder playfully. Nia looks over Femi's shoulder at you. I was actually thinking Sleeper's crew might be the right fit. She flashes you a smile. You suddenly feel the attention of the moment, shifted to you, and your apparent role in this family drama. Nia puts her hands on her hips. Well, Sleeper, what do you think? I mean, in practical terms, it's fairly neutral, I think. Like, Femi just duplicates what Yujin provides, which it's all right. We haven't found a huge amount of use for that on missions. Nia, I can't remember what she's good at, but I think it's fairly. I think we've got it covered anyway. Again, so either way, there, it's not particularly useful in a practical sense, but in story terms, I think we'll take Nia with us. You know, she says she wants to train up, she wants to be part of a crew and learn and stuff. And Femi, obviously, he's experienced as a captain. It's his ship. He should be the one to do that. So let's take Nia with us. Nia nods. I'm honoured, really. I know I'll learn a lot from you. Femi turns in the corridor to face you, his face set in an intimidating glare.
You better take good care of her.
He smiles, but you can't help but take him seriously. How about we find somewhere to celebrate? Nia pushes Femi towards you down the corridor. Come on. Later on, you find yourself in the narrow escape, in a quiet corner with Femi. You see his eyes are on Nia, who is at the bar trying to get the attentions of the server.
What's the secret?
Femi turns to you.
How do you stop it weighing you down? Your crew, your connections, all those people that rely on you.
Femi frowns.
How do you bear the weight?
I don't carry it alone. Femi nods.
I have to get better at that. At asking for help.
He looks down at the table, smiling. He takes a long sip through the straw of his container, the last dregs of something amber and potent disappearing as he does. He looks up at you.
She's gone, isn't she?
You look over at the bar and can't see Nia among the crowd. You turn to Femi, confused.
She was never that good with goodbyes.
He smiles.
She'll be waiting at your ship, don't worry.
He sets down his drink.
Time I left, too.
He squeezes your shoulder.
I've got things to work on. Look after yourself, Sleeper.
He pushes himself away from the corner and drifts out of the bar. You watch him go, one more body passing through the belt, trying to find a way to change the future. New ship crew, we got the 250, so we're okay for cash again now. In terms of the rig, I think I'll keep it set to gathering supplies because they're kind of expensive. I'm not going to rest now though, obviously. I'm going to save up. I think I'm going to bring Endure up to a plus. That way, you know, we've always got good options, apart from on engaged checks, obviously. We could try and earn money. I think I might try and buy engine parts, though. So we need 8 of these. Where could you buy the engine parts? Engine components, 50. So that'd be 150 for 3 parts, but then we'd be able to upgrade our ships, and I think that's worthwhile. We got the cash, so I'm also going to. Well, we could do some work here. I won't do that right now, but I think I'll fill up with fuel. Although let's wait until we've worked on the ship, maybe, because we'll probably be able to buy more fuel then. So 8 engine parts. There we go. We're up to 15 now. Cool. I still wish I knew what was going on with this. That's probably quite expensive, though, to fill up on the fuel. 54 is actually not that bad. Let's just fill up. I'm going to buy 1 supply, because when we rest, hopefully that will fill up. A bit low on cash. I got dice, so maybe we just don't need to buy a meal. We just earn whatever credits we can from here. It's not particularly amazing, but it's all right. We're still getting that raw scrap as well. At some point, we'll be able to sell that probably, or whatever. We lost an energy. That's not the end of the world. Look at the map. So, we could reach the scatter yards. Try and go to Hellion Gate again and get down to the green belt. To do the scatter yards. Let's do that. There's a few things to do there. Hopefully we can get enough drive points to upgrade again. The winking sigils of the yards flash across the dark starscape of the belt, each one a siren light for crews in need of repairs or eager for improvements. The scatter yards live up to their reputation. But Seraphim will not be drawn by the lights. He guides the ship into an empty, ragged-looking yard, darker and more frame than plate. It looks rougher than any of the others. Seraphim, maybe we want to dock somewhere a little more welcoming? We aren't that hard up. Bliss turns to you. Or are we worse off than I thought, Sleeper? Best shipwrights rarely have the brightest science. Thought you'd know that, Bliss. Seraphim reaches up and flicks a set of switches above his head. Marco's the best in the scatter yards. The best, or just the best you know? Bliss gives him a skeptical look. You'll see. Seraphim smiles widely, shutting off the main console and unclipping from the pilot seat. We're safe here. Seraphim turns to you. No need to run from Lane for a while. He'll never find us in Marco's yard. It'll be nice to have a break from running. Junie floats at the back of the cockpit. I hear the scatter yards have some good data analysis terminals on the hub. Junie glances at you. If you can spare me. Nia glides into the cockpit. We here. Femi loves this place. She glances at you with a smile. All these grumpy spaces waiting on repairs. I think it fits his temperament. You follow Seraphim as he glides eagerly to the airlock. You and Bliss exchange glances. Both of you are used to Seraphim's headstrong moments, yet you still can't help but feel the now familiar pull of someone else's problems. Marco! Seraphim opens his arms to the figure coming through the cycling airlock. Marco, street smart shipfitter, Seraphim's friend. Finn! Marco floats through the doorway, a crooked smile across his pale face, his sharp eyes glinting in the rig's bright work lights. The two embrace, more of a chest bump than a hug. Seraphim spinning with the momentum of the impact to end with his arm across Marco's shoulder, the two side by side, grinning. You notice Marco's eyes quickly falling on you, a slight narrowing suggesting his immediate thoughts about your presence. So, this is the ship you're flying with now, Finn. Marco shoots you a wink, his expression shifting to conceal his previous curiosity or concern. Bliss? They introduce themselves curtly. You two used to be on a crew together, I assume? Me and Finn? No. We're just drinking buddies. Marco's response provokes a laugh from Seraphim, some kind of joke you can't quite catch the tone of. Marco turns his attention to you. And a sleeper? He smiles. My condolences. It's a damn crime what those corporations do to you. But at least you're out, huh? I appreciate the solidarity. Of course. Marco taps a fist to his chest in a gesture that seems both genuine and mocking in the same instant. Marco turns back to Seraphim. It's been too long, Finn. Not flying with old Betty anymore? You immediately see the reaction in Seraphim, his entire being tightening without anything more than a shudder to signify it. Nah, that's long done. Marco shrugs. Yeah, that's the way of the belt. He shakes Seraphim by the shoulder. Come on then, enough floating around in this drafty old thing. Let's get drink. Marco turns his attention to you. Feel free to make yourself at home in the yard. I'll take a little fuel. I've got loads of this stuff and it's been quiet for more than a few cycles. Happy to spare some for a friend. He steers Seraphim down the docking tunnel, waving a hand to you and calling back, I'll have him home in a cycle or two. His laughter echoes down the tunnel as they leave. Bliss turns to you. I'm going to go and dig around the other yards for some components the rig could do with. They smile. You got things to do? You think of Cadet and wonder if she found her way here to the scatter yards to extract the data on the Hexport drive. The only way to know would be to find her. Seraphim's words echo in your mind, his insistence that the only way to escape Lane is to beat him on his home turf. With Darkseid just sunward of the scatter yards, this might be the perfect platform from which to attempt such a wild and dangerous plan. Sleeper? Bliss brings you out of your thoughts. I hate it when you do that. Just take care out there, okay? They drift off down the docking tunnel, leaving you in the airlock. It seems the next step is up to you. And the next step is something we'll do in the next episode, so I'll just say thanks very much for watching this. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, if you could hit the like button, that'd be amazing. Be sure to leave me a comment as well. I know we've had lots of positive feedback so far on the episodes that have published already as I'm filming this. But let me know what you think of the story, of the characters, of the game itself. Always interested in your thoughts. And, if you're watching this and haven't yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that as well, that'd be fantastic. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.